Welcome, everyone. You've made it to the right place, a space where you can let your guard down and truly be yourself. Have you ever felt like life's burdens were too heavy to carry alone? Or maybe you've been waiting for a breakthrough that feels like it's never going to come. You're not alone, and you don't have to face this journey by yourself. Here, we're all walking a similar path, seeking hope, healing, and a deeper connection with God. This is a safe haven where you can bring your doubts, your fears, and your broken pieces, knowing that you'll be met with understanding and compassion. Today, we're going to dive deep into God's promises and discover how His love can transform our pain into purpose. So, take a deep breath, open your heart, and get ready to experience the peace and strength that only He can provide. If you're still here, it's because something in your heart is telling you to keep listening, and that's not by accident. But if this doesn't speak to you, feel free to step away. This message might not be meant for you right now. However, if you're one of the few who know deep down that there's something more, then this message is exactly what you need today. I'm here to deliver something powerful, something that resonates across time, a message of hope, restoration, and divine purpose. This is for you, the one who feels the world has turned its back on you, who feels crushed by the weight of your circumstances, and who wonders if there's any light left at the end of the tunnel. Whether you're heartbroken, discouraged, or completely lost, I want to speak directly to your soul. God hasn't forgotten you. He sees you. He knows your pain. And right now, He's working behind the scenes to bring about a miracle that will transform your life. Let's start with this. God sees every tear you've cried, every sleepless night, and every silent cry for help. You might feel invisible to the world, but you are never invisible to God. Psalm 56:8 tells us, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." This isn't just poetic language. This is God's intimate awareness of your suffering. Every tear is precious to Him, and none of it is in vain. To those who are broken-hearted, discouraged, or lost, God is speaking directly to you today. He's reminding you that His love is constant, unchanging, and always present, even when it feels like everything else has slipped away. Let's be real for a moment. Life as one of the chosen ones isn't easy. In fact, sometimes it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, like you're constantly navigating through storms, while everyone else seems to be walking in the sunshine. But here's something you need to hear, something your heart already knows deep down. The obstacles you're facing aren't random. They're part of a greater plan, a divine purpose crafted by God Himself. Think about this. Why would anyone willingly walk a path filled with trials, heartache, and challenges? Why would you, a chosen one, choose to endure such hardships? The answer is both simple and profound. Because you're called. God's hand-picked you for something extraordinary, something that goes far beyond the ordinary life. He's placed a calling on your heart, one that resonates with your very soul, and it's that calling that propels you forward, even when the road is rough. But why does this path have to be so difficult? Why are the chosen ones, the ones who have said yes to God's call, often the ones who face the most intense battles? It's because your journey is not just about you, it's about what God is doing through you. Every obstacle you face, every tear you shed, and every struggle you encounter is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for the purpose He's set before you. Remember, diamonds are formed under pressure, and gold is refined in the fire. You are that precious, being shaped and purified through every trial you endure. God's love for you is beyond measure, and that's something you need to hold on to, especially in the darkest moments. His love is not dependent on your circumstances. It doesn't waver when you're going through hard times. In fact, it's in those very moments that His love shines brightest. When you're on your knees, feeling like you can't go on, that's when God is closest to you. He sees every tear, hears every prayer, and knows every fear. And through it all, He's whispering to your heart, "I'm with you. I'm for you. I'll never leave you." The obstacles you face are not signs of God's absence. They are evidence of His presence in your life. They're reminders that you're on a path that matters, a path that's leading you to fulfill the purpose He's created for you. The enemy wouldn't be trying so hard to stop you if you weren't destined for something great. The very fact that you're encountering resistance means that you're moving in the right direction. But let's be honest. It's tough to keep this perspective when you're in the middle of the storm. It's hard to remember that God is with you when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. That's why it's so important to stay connected to Him, to keep your eyes fixed on Him even when the winds are howling and the waves are crashing. Because when you do, you'll find that He's not just standing beside you, He's holding you, guiding you, and giving you the strength to keep going. God's love is the anchor that holds you steady in the storm. It's the light that guides you through the darkness, and it's the power that lifts you up when you've fallen. And here's the thing about God's love. It's not passive. It's active, fierce, and relentless. It's a love that chases you down when you're lost, that pulls you out of the pit when you've fallen, and that fights for you when you're too weak to fight for yourself. So why do the chosen ones take this path? Because you're not just walking for yourself. You're walking for those who will come after you, for those who need to see someone else overcome so they can believe that they can too. Your journey is a testimony, a beacon of hope for others. It's a living, breathing example of what it looks like to walk in faith, to trust in God's promises, even when everything around you is telling you to give up. When you face obstacles, don't see them as roadblocks. See them as stepping stones, as opportunities for growth, for deeper trust, and for greater reliance on God. Each challenge is a chance to see God's power at work in your life, to experience His faithfulness in ways you never would have if everything was easy. Remember, God doesn't waste anything. Every pain, every struggle, every tear, He's using it all to mold you into the person He's created you to be. Here's the divine wisdom you need to hold on to. God's timing is perfect, and His plans for you are good. Even when you can't see the end from where you are, trust that He's leading you exactly where you need to go. The path of the chosen ones is not without its difficulties, but it is filled with purpose. And that purpose is greater than anything you can imagine. Jeremiah 31:3 reassures us, "I have loved you with an everlasting love. I have drawn you with unfailing kindness." God's love doesn't depend on your circumstances, your failures, or your doubts. It's steadfast and reaches out to you even in your darkest hour. Let's reflect on Job, a man who knew suffering beyond imagination. He lost his wealth, his health, and even his children. But in the middle of all that pain, he held on to his faith. In Job 13:15, he declares, "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him." Job didn't deny his pain or pretend everything was okay. He chose to trust in God's goodness even when his world was falling apart. And because of his unshakable faith, God restored him, giving him more than he had lost. Job's story shows us that our faith in the darkest times is seen by God, and he is faithful to restore and bless us beyond what we can imagine. You might be in a season where everything feels like it's falling apart. Maybe you've lost a job, a relationship, or even your sense of purpose. Maybe you're carrying the weight of grief or the burden of unfulfilled dreams. But hear me clearly. God is not done with you. He's still writing your story. Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Even when your present seems bleak, God is working behind the scenes to bring about a future filled with hope and purpose. When you're in your deepest despair, turn to God in prayer. Prayer isn't just a ritual, it's a lifeline, a direct connection to God's heart. Psalm 34:18 says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." When you pour out your heart to God, you're inviting Him into your pain, allowing His healing presence to touch your deepest wounds. And remember, prayer doesn't have to be perfect or eloquent. God isn't looking for perfect words, He's looking for a willing heart. As you seek God's presence in prayer, keep Romans 8:28 close to your heart. "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." This verse is a cornerstone of our faith, reminding us that nothing is wasted in God's hands. Every tear, every heartbreak, every loss, it all has a purpose in God's grand design for your life. Even when it doesn't make sense, trust that God is working all things together for your good. You were chosen for a reason, called by name to walk this path. And while it may not always be easy, it will always be worth it, because every step you take, every obstacle you overcome, is bringing you closer to the destiny God has for you. So don't lose heart. Don't give up. Keep pressing forward, knowing that God is with you, that His love is carrying you, and that He is working all things together for your good. As you continue on this journey, remember to speak life over your situation. The words you speak have power. They can either lift you up or tear you down. So choose to speak words of faith, words of hope, and words of victory. Declare God's promises over your life, even when you don't yet see them coming to pass. Say things like, "I am a child of God, and He has great plans for me. I am not defined by my past. I am stepping into a future filled with hope. God is my healer, my provider, and my source of strength. I will not be shaken, for my faith is in Him." And as you speak these truths, you'll find that your heart and mind begin to align with God's Word. You'll start to see your circumstances through His eyes, not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for Him to show His power in your life. Chosen one, you are not alone in this journey. Jesus Himself walked this path before you, and He understands your pain, your struggles, and your fears. He is your source of comfort and strength, and He is ready to pour out His mercy and grace upon you. All you need to do is come to Him, to lay down your burdens at His feet, and to find rest for your soul. In the end, the obstacles you face will not defeat you. They will refine you, strengthen you, and prepare you for the incredible future God has in store for you. So hold on to hope. Keep your faith strong, and trust in God's unfailing love and promises. Your current circumstances are not the end of your story. God is with you, He is for you, and He is working all things together for your good. For those of you who feel brokenhearted, remember why Jesus came. He came to give you life, life in abundance. John 10:10 tells us that this abundant life isn't just about material blessings. It's about living in the fullness of God's love, joy, peace, and purpose. Your current situation doesn't define your future. God is the author of your story, and trust me, He writes the best endings. Hold on to hope, keep your faith strong, and trust in God's unfailing love and promises. And let's not overlook the importance of community. God never meant for us to walk this journey alone. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up." Surround yourself with people who will lift you up, pray for you, and remind you of God's promises when you're struggling to hold on. There's incredible strength in numbers and immense power in the unity of believers. Finally, let's hold on to these words from Jesus in Matthew 11:28-30. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Jesus is inviting you to come to Him, to lay down your burdens at His feet, and to find true rest for your soul. His arms are wide open, ready to embrace you with His love and give you a peace that only He can provide.